got the main part of the hydro, which is a 5" by 5" square tubing. This is nothing more than vinyl fence posting. Also comes in 4" by 4" as well. So I'm ready to cut it to length and fit it in the new area. I'll measure off 65½ inches. And we're just going to cut this with a hacksaw. Should be fairly simple, it's like cutting PVC. Perfect. This is cut to length. Got a nice piece of scrap. Could make a mini hydro with this, I suppose. All right. Nice little end caps. We're gonna put these on the end, just like that. They're going to be siliconed at each end, but I'm going to do some testing first. So I'm going to put this on last. Testing on the misting sprinkler system put in there. This is ready to be plotted out. We're going to put 6 3" holes on the top here, which is where these pots are going to sit. 3" pots. The medium fits nicely in there. They're made for this. But a little on the pricey side, $16 for 12 of them. pH neutral. They fit nice. It's just a matter of convenience. So these are going to set up here all the way down. Those are going to be 3" holes. We'll be using the hole saw, 3" hole saw, to drill these holes. This was about 22, $23 with both pieces, the pilot bit and the hole saw. When those are done, there's going to be 1 3/4" hole drilled at the bottom here, and that's what's going to be draining into the reservoir. And the sprinkler system is going to be hooked up here, and a couple other small holes will be drilled to put those in there, and it's going to go. But this baby is ready for laying out the holes to be drilled, and it's going to sit nicely right in this area. So that's how it's going to sit. That's what it's going to look like. Texture hasn't been done yet. It's going to get done today. But we got the length nice. You're going to have about 1.5 inches on each side here, just for a matter of convenience. Here's the reservoir. Simple 7-gallon office trash can. So you can see those bottom holes are going to drain. Whoop. Those bottom holes are going to drain right into that can there. And when I need to clean it, I'm just going to pick these things up, take them outside, clean them, pick that up, take it outside, clean it. It's going to be so easy. No mess in the house. And the light's going to hang up here. somewhere. Haven't quite decided how we're going to do that yet. Okay, we got everything mapped out. I drilled a couple holes already. But we're going to get the center points, take a tiny nail. I've already done this, but I'm showing you what you do. You put it down there. Just do that a couple of times to get a divot in there, because we don't want the pilot bit to slip while we're drilling. And you got to use a variable speed for this and go slow. It's going to twist and torque a lot. Worked out good. Got this piece we got to get out of here now. And we just carry on. Number 2. There they are, drilled out, set up. Nice and staggered, about 11 inches apart. Just like a garden. Okay, the 3-inch baskets are in there and they fit absolutely perfect. Let's get a good look at these baskets here, just so you know what we're talking about. So you can see all the holes there, the slots, and that's the roots are going to grow through there, and they're going to just then meander wherever they want to go inside that tube, which is going to be bathing. The sprinkler system is going to be inside that tubing, bathing all the roots with all the nutrients they need. Perfect. This is going to be so kick-ass. 40 cents. Those baskets are 40 cents each. This is a 12-pot system. 6 in each tube. Alright, cutting the drip tubing. You can see here I'm just using 1/4 inch tubing you can get at the nursery store or the hardware store. I'm using simple drips, emitters that are going to feed the pots. And I'm putting these in each one of these, clamping them down with a hose clamp all the way through. Going to do the 2 tubes that way, and then we'll hook it up to the pump and test it. Pretty basic. Okay, there's the drain pipe right there. That comes out of the side there, and inside here you see how it comes up a little about halfway, and I have some holes drilled there. There's 3 of them actually. You can only see one. There's one on the bottom, one on the other side. They're all at different heights, just so that the water will drain out. I certainly don't mind a ½ inch or so at the bottom, but any more than that is just probably not good, because the nutrients need oxygen as well, so there needs to be a continuous drain, and that's what's going to go on here. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is just right there, wherever this lines up, here, I'm going to drill a hole there, and because down here, under here is going to be where the reservoir is at. So I'll drill a hole down there, I'll stick a piece of PVC tubing in there, and it'll drain into the reservoir. And it will all come pumped back out up through this tubing here. So we're almost done. All I'm going to do now, next I'm going to test the system, make sure it's got proper pressure, all the emitters are dripping, and I'm going to try to put some saran wrap around the edges and seal this up and see what it looks like while it's running, and how it fills up with water. And because these are the end caps, they're going to be silicoed in permanently, so I want to see what's going on first. So there you go. It's one tube finished. The other one's actually finished too. Just gonna go test them up right now. Okay, everything's running perfect. The drip emitters are dripping just like they should. Continuous feed. We are ready to seal this bad boy up. Okay, I'm ready to test. I put plastic on the ends of these things just to test the system. I want to test 3 things here: the flow rate of the drip emitters, in case they need to be adjusted. I want to make sure that the drain drains properly, and I also want to make sure there's no leaks around the grommets that I put in there. So let's fire this up and see what happens. Put a little plastic window in there to just see better. Okay, so we're at the ½ hour mark. No leaks yet, which is perfect. Should start draining pretty soon. Okay, this took about 1 hour to fill and start draining from these tubes. I'll have a piece of PVC pipe coming down in much closer to the bucket. This is just for testing purposes. You can see that's going to be about maybe an inch, 3/4 of an inch of deep water culture. So cool. Ready to seal this up. All right, we're done with the construction of the hydroponic unit. All the repairs are done and we're ready to throw this thing together. We got the reservoir down here. This is nothing other than a 7-gallon office trash can, that's it. It's gonna sit right down here. Got a pump in here, I already put the wire, or the tubing in, to go from the pump size to the irrigation size. And I'm just putting that bad boy in here. Sits down nice like that. And you may recall, in the video I told you I was going to have some extension poles, or drain tubes, not poles. We saw the water draining out of this. This is the bottom of the feed tube. So I went ahead and cut drain tubes to length. These don't have to go in tight, they just gotta kind of, no need to glue those in. And then simply, this is going to go down here through this hole that we drilled in there, the feed tube as well. And there, that guy's in place. And we'll do the same thing to the second one. There's tubing's in the way a little bit. Just want to center this all up nice. Everything is in here. And that looks good, nice and centered. All right, cool. Now, we've got 2 feed lines down here. And I cut these obviously longer than I need, and the reason why I did that is every time I change this out, instead of pulling these apart, it's much easier to cut off 1/2 inch, like I did last time. I have to cut these off before I can put this together, and just waste that 1/2 inch. So I've got lots of 1/2 inches to waste before I have to redo this whole system again. So just thinking ahead a little bit. Got to cut these pieces off. So you're gonna waste that much each time, big deal. You try to pull these hoses apart, you'll never do it. Because of the barbed ends. Just won't let it happen. All right. So we'll put one in. And the other one. And there we go. We're all put together here now. So now I just got to fill this up and fire it up. But first, I'll show you about these cups, these pots. These are the 3-inch net pots. Get them at any hydroponic store. Some of your higher end nursery stores have all that stuff. This is simply the growing media that you can buy these. I got 12 units. They conveniently come in a package of 12. It's like, looks like it was $15.95, 16 bucks. It's just a matter of convenience. You could use any medium you want. I'm starting from seed. This is a great medium to start from seed. So these simply just fill them up, put them in here, and go all the way through on each one. I already got some of these pots in, so I just need to stuff this in. Tell you what, it's actually easier to pull these out. Put these in a lot nicer. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea if you're starting from seed, to soak these things in water first. You can only see that as a benefit. I'm not doing that, but I think what I will do is when I start the system up, I'll add some of the water with a water cannon and just pour it over here to get these things nice and wet and started. So what happens here is these are slotted pots, as you can see, and all the roots are just going to grow right through here. Remember in the testing video that we showed, we had about almost an inch of reservoir that will constantly remain down here. And all I'll have to do is add nutrient feed. Kitty, get out of there. Get! Damn cat. Add nutrient feed to keep the reservoir up, and that's it. Probably periodically do complete change outs of the reservoir to make sure that there's no concentration of nutrients building up. Just have fresh stuff. You know, just kind of taking care of things. Haven't built the light system yet. It's going to go up here. Haven't decided which height yet. I'm going to test the light to see exactly what angle I get on each side, and that's what's going to determine the height. I'm probably going to have 2 different settings in case I need to change the height, in case things get bigger, taller. I'm going to try to plant eggplant. Here's what I plan on planting the first time around. Eggplant, tomato, and bell peppers. Mini bell, well actually, I'm going to do a large red bell variety and a mini yellow bell variety. What I plan on doing is using these end spots here to plant the heavy things like the tomatoes, the peppers, and the eggplant. I can use these walls then as anchor points in case I need to if things get too heavy and they want to tip over. And then in the remaining, the center 2, 4, 6, 8 spots, I'm going to plant a couple of and the tomato varieties that I'm choosing, it's kind of important to know this if you're going to grow tomatoes. There's 2 types of tomatoes, determinate vine types and indeterminate vine types. Basically that means indeterminate vine types are the kind of tomato plants that you see that just go crazy. They just keep on growing and they get super, super big. The determinate vine type tomatoes have a known way that they grow, and they're usually referred to as bush type tomatoes. So you know that the kind that I'm going to grow, one of the tomato kinds I'm going to grow, is called the Marglobe. And that's going to get about 25 to 30 inches tall, produce about 8-inch tomatoes. But that's good to know that it's only going to get 25 inches tall. I've grown this tomato variety before in the backyard, so I know how it's going to grow, and it's going to work out perfect at the end spots. And I should get a couple dozen tomatoes off that one plant, hopefully. You know, all things got to go well. We'll see. We'll keep track on the progress. And then I'm going to grow a couple of green bean varieties, a couple of spinach, and some romaine lettuce. That's going to be round one. All right, cool. So these are all in. You want to make sure all your emitters are turned properly. They turn easily, and they're aligned where you want them to irrigate the medium. And of course, all the valves are open. Some of these got partially shut as we were just moving things around. Phone, business time. All right, I'm back. Had to take care of business. All right. So one thing, after I got all these pots filled now with their growing medium, which is kind of like a tightly woven cotton, but it's not a cotton material. It's a poly fiber of some kind. So I had to take a sharp knife and just put a hole inside the center of each to where you're going to plant the seed. And I might have to adjust that somewhere along the way too. All right, so I'm just going to go start planting here. Right over here in this spot, I'm going to throw in, these are mini yellow bell peppers. I'm going to put 2 seeds in each spot and take the best one of the 2. If they both germinate, I'll just cut one down. Won't pull the root. You want to cut it. And I have a little pen, pencil, anything will work, and just stuff that down there a little bit inside that crevice that you cut. All right. Eggplant. This is called a Black Beauty eggplant. It should give me, under ideal conditions, between 4 and 6 eggplants that are about 7 inches long. The seeds that I have from this variety are from 2002, so they're 10 years old right now. I'm going to toss in 3 in here. Haven't grown this kind in a long time, so I'm going to throw 3 in this pot. If I get just 1 eggplant, I'll have 2012 seeds. By the way, a lot of these, the tomatoes, the peppers, and the beans are all self-pollinators, but eggplant is not a self-pollinator. But I'll be taking care of that myself with a little tiny brush, paintbrush that you can get at any hobby store, and I'll be going from flower to flower, pollinating these things. Got America spinach. I'm going to do 2 of these because I like spinach. So I'm doing 2 different varieties of spinach. This one grows well. I've grown it before. Indoors, next to a sunny window. It does tend to bolt a lot though. Fast, I should say. And what I mean by bolt is it wants to go to seed, start flowering. At that point, you might as well just cut the thing down and eat all the green leaves. You're not going to get much more production after that. So 2 seeds in each one of these. Next, we're going with some romaine lettuce. This is actually a variety called Freckles romaine, another variety I've grown in potted plants inside. It grows pretty good. These are super tiny seeds. It's hard to pick out too. So I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to finger a little wet. But this little, I don't know, there's a simple pick there. It looks like I got about 15 or 20. This looks close to 2. These are super tiny seeds. You don't want to plant those super tiny seeds super deep. They'll never get through the fibers, I'm guessing. Same thing with soil. Anyways, this is called the freckless romaine. It's a romaine lettuce. It'll probably get about 7 inches high, 8 inches high. It has red spots all over its leaf. Very crispy lettuce. You can eat it super, super young. It's considered a gourmet. Or you can eat it, I think I got 2 on that one too. Or let it mature a little more and eat it like a regular old romaine. Except it's not going to get as tall as the romaines you get at the store, but it's going to taste just as good, better. Back to old spinach. This is giant, called giant thick leaf spinach. Another variety I've grown both indoors and outdoors. Has huge leaves, super, super thick leaves, obviously by the name. It's kind of cool. It's a heavy producer, so you can just keep picking spinach. This will be like rabbit food. Just come with the scissors, clip, clip, eat. Probably don't even need the scissors. That seed doesn't look too good. Yeah, you can just pull these off and eat a few every time you walk by it. I think spinach tastes way better uncooked. Escarole, on the other hand, man, escarole tastes great. You know what I like doing with escarole? I'm trying to grow some escarole here one day. I like taking some pepperoni and garlic and frying it in a pan. Sliced pepperoni, the stick pepperoni, the really real pepperoni. None of that deli crap. And frying it in some olive oil with garlic, salt, pepper, pepperoni chunks, quartered, you know, bite-sized quarters. Frying it in some olive oil for a few minutes, sauteing it. Throw the escarole on, mix it up. Let that escarole steam down, and bam, you got a great side dish there. It's awesome. Alright, so now we're at the, these are called Blue Lake bush beans. These are just green beans, get about 7 inches long. These are nice producers too as well. I've grown these all the time. They're very, you can count on their reliability. And the thing with beans, you got to keep picking them. If you don't pick them, they're not going to make new flowers. I'm putting 2 in here. These are big beans. Probably count on the reliability of one of these germinating because these seeds are fairly fresh, not old. I think they're 3 years old. But when 2 pop up in here, I'm not going to pull it out. I'm going to cut it with a pair of scissors, just so it stops growing because you don't want to disrupt the roots of the other plant. But I'm fairly confident all 4 of these will germinate. They're super reliable. Okay, bullnose pepper. This is this is a red bell pepper. What's really cool about this pepper, it's going to be about a 4 or 5 inch long pepper, 4 inch thick-walled red pepper. But it's both sweet and hot. That's what's cool about this. This pepper, the flesh of the pepper is sweet, but the vein part is a tangy spice to it, so it's actually kind of cool. You know, if you don't like hot peppers like jalapenos, you just cut the veins out and they're hardly hot at all. Only wimps do that, by the way. And these aren't super hot, they're just, you know, tangy, but it adds a nice flavor. If you put it in a salad, nice bite to that, you got the sweetness of the red bells with a little tang to it. It's kind of cool. Marglobe tomatoes, I've grown these a lot. Indoors, in the window garden, outdoors in the backyard. This is 6-7 ounce tomato, not very seedy, not a lot of high moisture content in it either. It's cool, but it's another good producer. I probably will get Hoping about 2 dozen out of these if all goes well. That'd be a pretty good haul in itself. It's one seed. Besides, I really do need to replenish my seed stock of this variety, which is why I chose this one. All right, everything is planted and ready to go. All right, everything's planted now. All the seeds are in. Remember I told you I was initially just going to water these dry pots just to initially get them wet. And that's what I'm going to do here, is just go through all of these and just initially get these wet. Sucking up the water good. Already spilling stuff. All right, let's add up water to the reservoir. This is a 7-gallon container. Probably will only have to fill 6 gallons, maybe a little less. We'll see. Okay, looks like we're starting with 5 gallons of water. Good place to start. Brings the water level up to right around here. I did the math once. The water, is remember from the previous testing, is going to be about this thick. So you got 3/4 an inch. I did the calculations earlier for how much that is, but I did it for 2 inches when I was initially designing this thing, and I think that turned out to be around right around 3 gallons that would be in here if this was 2 inches high per tube. So that would have taken up 6 gallons right away in a 7-gallon reservoir. All right, but this is going to work out just fine. I got an arrow garden grown in my kitchen. I've had this thing for years. Those things are pretty cool, and they really work well if you take care of it, and I have. But I've been using for the last couple of years General Hydroponics feed. And that's what I'm going to use in this system too. It's got 3 parts. It's got a floral grow, it's got a floral micro, and it's got a floral micronutrients. A floral bloom, I guess. It's probably good for when you get to the peppers and the tomatoes. So I'm going to use that. The instructions for the seedlings say 1/4 teaspoon per gallon. So we got 5 gallons in here, so we're going to use 1 1/4 teaspoons for the seedling stage. Once they sprout, we'll add more nutrients and give them more food. So in this goes. There's 1. Whoop. And that's a little more than 1/4. That's about 1/4. Just like cooking, man. Sometimes you gotta guess. The next is the floral bloom. This has the, all right, so the grow is 2:1:6. That's the NPK ratio. The floral bloom is a 0.54. So it's obviously you're getting a lot of phosphorus for that when you get your tomatoes and your peppers for the flower part. Not going to help out the leafy vegetables too much. And then the Floral Micro has all your micronutrients in it. They seem to really be the most important, man, to get things looking kick-ass. All right. Just give this one good stir. I gotta grab a timer because we're gonna fire this up. But this is all gonna be on a timer. I'm gonna have it set for 5 a.m. turn on, 8 p.m. turn off time. So during, and the lights are gonna be set up the same way. So when the lights are on, this will be running. When the lights are off, this won't be running. Any of the nutrients that the plant might need during the nighttime can get right from the little reservoir down here. Oh, another thing about this, what's really cool about this system is you got the drip. So these drips are keeping your water oxygenated. We're gonna have the drip from here too, and that's gonna keep the water oxygenated, so you can completely bypass the air stone thing that everybody talks about to give the oxygen roots. It's happening naturally, so that's a cool thing. Let me grab that timer, I'll be right back. Okay, got the timer. Got this set to go off at 4 a.m. to start and off at 8 p.m. So we're gonna plug this bad boy in and throw it right into the power source. And there we go. So this guy's running. Wasn't making that kind of pump noise outside. We'll see if that slows down. I've got 2 pumps, so I'm not concerned. But let's see what it sounds like this. It's a little loud. So I'm just adjusting all these heads now so they just feeding all the nutrient, they're feeding the pots. What's nice about these, are nice and flexible, man. Put them wherever you want. This material is quite absorbent, so it really doesn't matter if it's touching the seeds directly. It will eventually absorb in there. These are all looking really nice, man. Perfect flow rate. Yeah, baby. I'm stoked. We're ready to go. This stuff started growing right now. August 14th, 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon. We'll have progress videos all along the way. Houston, we have a problem. We have a leak. And we know what it is. I never did test these end caps for waterproofness, and they're not waterproof. What I have to do is take this out, rinse everything out, let it dry, and silicone. There's little seals I just plain didn't notice, and silicone those areas shut, and that should solve the problem. The big issue here is I already planted the seeds and they're already wet. So now I got to put the seeds in a container that'll have water to keep them moisture. Repairing these ends are going to take me, well, I'll rinse it out right now, it'll dry overnight. I'll do it tomorrow afternoon. Need at least 24 hours cure time, so we're looking, probably 2 days. That's not going to be a huge issue for the seedlings because they don't need light. I'll hand water everything in the interim, but this is definitely an oversight, and I got to spend 2 days to fix it. Problem solving, creative thinking. Let's get to work and fix this. Okay, I just got done rinsing everything off and it's time for it to dry. Let's show you if I can zoom in on what we totally failed at here. Just did not just totally, you see that crack right there? That needs to be sealed with silicone. That's where it's leaking from. I did not do that. I just didn't even see that, didn't even notice it. So that's why we're going through this process. This whole seam got sealed on all 4 sides, but I just overlooked this bad boy right here, all the way around. So back to the drawing board. We'll fix this up and get back in business. Testing the new end cap seal repair. I don't think let's see if we can see it. So basically right here we had along this joint was never sealed, and that was not a fused part, so it leaked there, so I sealed it up on all 4 of them. All the way around, actually, not just that edge, but all the edges. And I ain't feeling any water under here, so that's good. Let's check the other side. Everything's nice and dry. We'll just let it sit for a while, make sure. Oh my, after all that nice repair that Hummy did on my sheetrock there, I just had to drill a hole through it, didn't I? You won't see that. That's going to be where the side of the light fixture is, and that's the access to the cord, the power cord. And the frame of the light fixture will completely hide that. You won't see it at all. All the plumbing, all the electric, it's all going to be hidden. Nothing will be shown. It's going to be totally cool.